50 on the screen, 46. Woo-hoo-hoo. Dang. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are shooting in the very early morning. I have been up for 20 hours to give you guys this video because it has been god-awful hot here in California. And this bike right here is more powerful than the last bike we just reviewed. This thing has a total of 3,500 watts. Yes, you heard that right, 3,500 watts. We have a 1,600 watt motor up front and a 1,900 watt motor in the back. And it also has the battery range to go with it as well. This is a 52 volt e-bike. It has a 60 amp hour battery right in here. So this is gonna give you a ton of range. Excuse my language, but in all serious, this is a fantastic bike. It looks gorgeous. It does have some new tires on it. One thing you're going to notice right off the bat is we have 300 millimeter rotors on the front and we have 220 millimeter rotors on the back. The front rotor makes this look like it's super tiny. It looks like it's a 160 millimeter rotor compared to that front one. And I asked the company, I said, hey, so what's the deal with these big rotors? Because it looks like the brake pad only goes up to right here, and they said it's for better stopping power. I actually think it's going to be better for heat because it takes longer for the pad to go all the way around the rotor, but we'll just have to see how the brake test goes. But I gotta say, I'm very excited for this bike. They say this thing has like 200 plus Newton meters of torque out of this bike, so let's just see how this thing performs. I gotta say, taking it just from my house over here so I can shoot this intro for you guys, I was kind of impressed. This thing is nuts. So let's get on it and let's have some fun. So this is how the bike looks when you first sit on it. It does have some plastic grips. Not a huge fan of that. It does have a full twist throttle, but it's also plastic, so it's not going to be very good on the hands. Make sure you guys wear gloves. I just normally don't wear gloves on these reviews because I really want to feel how the bike feels in general, but definitely wear gloves because this is a very fast bike. This thing is supposed to go over 45 miles an hour. Over here, you have your headlight toggle right here. You have turn signals on this bike. You do have a horn right here. And let's turn this bad boy on. You push this button, it lights up blue. If you didn't see that, and it says leader on there, and it's a very cool interface. It's actually different from what I've seen. So it gives you the front motor current power, the rear motor current power, then it gives you the actual wheel power. So right now we're in the rear, and then if I go over there, we're in the front, and if I do it again, now we are in dual. But if you hit it one more time, you go into the green dual motor, and that's gonna give us all our power possible. Right here in the middle is our battery bar. Our trip is right here, our time's right here, our run time that we've had on the bike. It says I have 18 miles on this bike, but I shit you not, this is my first time actually taking this bike down the street. So please believe me, I don't know why it has 18 miles right here. I'm gonna start this so we know our distance. I only went 0.5 miles from my house. I am going to go up into 5. The only thing I changed in the advanced setting was the soft start, and I basically put it as high as I can go. So now when we take off, this thing will pull out. Oh, and it's fast at that. It does have some brake sensors to let you know if you do hit the brakes, it will cut the power. So that's a good safety thing, because you can see we're taking off and I hit the brakes and it's gone, and I still have the throttle on. So I like that. But without further ado, I gotta see how fast this thing is. Here we go, guys. Top speed run. 1, 2, 3. Dang. 20 miles an hour. 30 miles an hour. This is taking a little longer to catch up to this, but I want to make sure this is accurate. That's why I got my phone up there so we can verify this. I'm 170 pounds. I'm about 5'9", just to give you guys an idea of what top speed I'm reaching with a full battery charge. Keep that in mind. The display is showing 45, and I'm getting about 42, 43. Go, go, go. All right, looks like we're holding 43 right now, but keep in mind, this is a brand spanking new bike. Just took it out of the box. When you first get on these bikes, you gotta break in these motors a little bit, so I feel like we're gonna catch up on the speed a little bit once we get some miles on this thing. But so far, we are jamming. This thing is crazy. This bike is very similar to the Romeo Pro 2 that I just reviewed that was all-wheel drive. But this thing definitely has more torque off the line, and it's not as heavy. That's probably why. Oh, we got cruise control. All right. I did not know we had cruise control. That's cool. This bike has cruise control. Let's see how long it takes. And it should show up on the display. There we go. Cruise control is activated. I can let off, and There we go. Cruise control is on, but I am losing speed somehow. That's interesting. I can see it on there, but why am I losing speed with cruise control on? It says it's giving me like 98% of power. It's kind of weird. Let me get back on the throttle again. There we go. Maybe cruise control doesn't let you go full out on max speed. Huh, that's interesting. The best thing about this bike is obviously going to be the power, right? But I love the fact that we have the battery to go with it. Because with power, you need a big battery or you're not going to be going very far very fast. You're going to have to go slower. And I love the fact that on this bike, we can go as fast as we want and we're going to get a lot of range out of this bike. Now, if you had it in single motor, you actually pedal it, I can definitely see people getting over 100 miles of range. Uh-oh. We got like a warning right there and then it just went away. That was weird. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. Maybe I'll have to do a slow-mo or a screenshot on the screen. That was weird. It just cut my power. Not 100% sure what to say about that, but there is a huge discrepancy about this screen though. 47 miles an hour, but we're really only getting 43 with GPS. 48 now, and GPS is still at 43. Wow, these brakes. Wow. No, seriously, guys, those brakes, I haven't even done a brake test yet. Phenomenal. Absolutely crazy. That was, wow, that kind of blew my mind. Now, I've only been on the bike about 3 miles or so, but there's one huge major thing I noticed about this bike that I do not like. So watch, I'm going to show you right now, and I'm going to try to do this the best I can. So watch, I'm going to get on the throttle, and watch, I'm going to let off. Okay, it wasn't too bad that time, but I think if you let off before 10 miles an hour, it keeps going. Watch, look, the bike is still moving for a very long time. I don't know why it is. Watch. Why is it still moving for like 2 seconds when I let off the throttle? So be careful, all right? That's really concerning. And I keep getting like a warning thing on here, but I don't know what that is. It's still performing pretty fine. It's just, it keeps giving me an exclamation point, but I don't know what that means. So anyways, we're gonna ignore that. We're just gonna have some fun out here. And let's try this braking test, but I gotta turn around and do it. But first, real quick, let's do a top speed run while we go down a slight hill on the side of the street in the bike lane. 45 miles an hour, 50 on the screen, 46. Woo! Dang, all right, now we're really breaking in these motors. Aniioki was right. These brakes are badass. Wow, I want these brakes on every single one of my bikes I have. These are better than my Sur-Ron brakes, my Talaria X brakes, any bike I've ever been on. Now they look a little weird being that huge, but hey, if they work and perform good, I'm all about it. Oh, look at the beautiful sun coming up. That's how you know we're shooting bright early in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. So you know how I do my brake tests on this channel. We try to do them in a class 3 e-bike at 28 miles an hour. So I'm gonna try to hold 28 miles an hour and we're gonna slam on the brakes. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. What? This is the best bike ever I've had on this channel for braking. That's the line right there. If we normally stop on all these bikes, 99% of my bikes stop at this line or right slightly after it. This one stopped before. I slammed on the brakes right here where this slab of cement is. You can see it has a little bit of a line right there going to my tire. And here's my next favorite thing about this bike. Oh, that ain't gonna get old, but I mean, it will when my tire goes bald. I need you guys to see this right now. Look, I am gonna hit it full throttle and just look at this speed and look at that speed and look how fast this bike is. This bike is stupid crazy fast. For a factory bike with no modifications whatsoever, no hub swap, no controller swap, nothing. This thing is crazy. Now I gotta say, it's not the most smoothest bike coming into turns because these tires are like an all-terrain tire, so they're made to go off-road. So they're not like a pure street tire. So I'm getting a little bit of vibration from the tire, and trying to do this turn doesn't feel that comfortable when I'm leaning into it really low. So I can't get that low on it, but they'll definitely perform a lot better than street tires when we go in the dirt. So I kind of like that. I'm not against it. So if you got to ride in the dirt and be on the street, you're really going to like this bike. And look, that thing came back on. I don't know what that's for, but now it went away. But it did take our power away for a second. But anyways, it's doing good now. Let's see how fast the top speed is coming down here. Let me pedal. I'll just pedal. Why not? 48 on the display, 49 on the display, 45 on my phone, 46 on my phone. All right, so they do exactly what it claims. They said it does about 45 miles an hour. On flat road, I'm seeing an average about 43 though with my weight. If you're a little bit lighter than me, you should definitely be going a little bit faster than me. You might pick up an extra mile or two. And if you're kind of heavier, like maybe 250, then expect to probably get like 41, 42. But what a quick bike. So the next test I like to do on this channel with these bikes is a throttle response. So let's try that out. And then after the throttle response, we'll check out the pedal response. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Instant power. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love it. I love it. 1, 2, 3. The front just lifts up, man. It's crazy. And by the way, this is an air shock on the front right here. So the way it's set up for me right now, it actually doesn't have enough air for my weight. But I can just come over here, take this off, and I can fill it with air. The only bad thing about filling this thing with air is that the handlebars are right above it. And you're gonna have to remove these or slide them sideways after taking these bolts loose to add air to this thing. And then you're gonna have to adjust it to your preference. The only bad thing is if you do wanna have one of your buddies ride it and your guys are a totally different weight, that's not gonna be ideal because then he's probably not gonna feel comfortable on it as you would. But again, if you're buying this bike, you're probably buying it for yourself. It's just something that I wanted to point out. Over here, we do have the compression right here. I do have it kind of high because it doesn't have enough air for me. So it feels pretty good where I had it. So it compresses just enough. Now, the next thing I got to do is the pedals. I didn't forget about it, even though we started talking about all this stuff. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, crap. Whoa, all right. Caught me off guard, man. The bike took off. It almost did a wheelie. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. That's quick. I'm only getting like, maybe not even a half rotation. Hold on. Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm getting about a half rotation. Those pedals and the motor just kick off and go. Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go, baby. Wow. All right, Aniioki. I see you. You guys are stepping your game up. All right, let's do a little bit of off-roading. Let's see how these tires perform. We're gonna go decently fast, maybe even top speed. I don't know. Let's just see how safe I feel. Sometimes squirrels run out. I don't know about this time of day though, because I don't film in the morning like this, so taking my chances. Oh wow, this actually feels pretty smooth. Yeah, all right, Aniioki. Let's go. Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, and even using the brakes on here, I didn't feel it like wishy-washy or wanting to slide all over the place. Works great. So the next thing I gotta do on this channel is my little hill test. And this has defeated a lot of bikes. But what I wanna do to give this a fair chance, it says they have a lot of power in each one of these motors. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm still gonna keep it in sports mode, because if you're going up a hill, you're gonna have the most power possible, right? But what if you are trying to save battery too and you don't wanna have both motors on? So I'm gonna go in the rear motor and let's see how it comes up this hill. So 1, 2, 3. All right. Ooh, I don't know. Oh. It didn't do it. Let's try it with the front motor. I don't think it's gonna be any different. We actually might have more wheel spin and we might not even reach as high as we went. I can see my tire mark. Let's see if I pass that or not. It's next to that big rock. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, it's just spinning. Oh, what? Okay, it actually made it more than I thought it was. It's not gonna go any more than this, but the last spot was right before the rock and this one made it up here, so all right. Front motor was doing some work. It was digging in, you could see it. So now let's try dual motors, but let's not go into the green dual motors. We're gonna go into the blue dual motors and let's see how this performs. 1, 2, 3. Woo. All right, there we go. Yeah, that took us up no problem whatsoever. It's a little sketchy with it wanting to pill out, you know, so you got to make sure to kind of even your weight on the bike. Now I'm going to put it in the green motors. This is the max power possible. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. 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 Yep, took us up perfectly fine. All right, so I say we got to try it on the bigger hill on the left-hand side of the one we just did, and let's test this out. I'm in max everything, and let's see how well it does. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, yep. It was going up and it wasn't pretty. I mean, it was pilling out all over the place. I had to have my feet like this to make sure I didn't fall over, but I mean, that's impressive. If you guys can tell how angled this thing is. I don't know the slope of it, but it is pretty steep. Now, one thing you guys are absolutely gonna love on this bike, and I'm not talking about the stuff that I already love on it, like the brakes, the power, the battery, it's this seat right here. A lot of you guys always complain and leave comments saying that I love these moped style e-bikes, but the seat isn't adjustable. Well, this seat, I'm here to tell you, is very comfortable and it is adjustable. I have it on the lowest spot because I like to sit as low as I can on these bikes. It just feels more comfortable for me. But you can definitely raise this high enough where my feet won't even touch the ground, and I'm 5'9". So just to give you an idea, you can definitely have a rider probably up to about 6'5" on this bike with no issues whatsoever. And if you're a short person, I'll tell you right now that when I sit on it, my feet are completely flat on the floor. They are barely slightly bent, not much, but it is still a very low bite for people that are probably 5'5" and up. All right, let's do some speed tests, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how actually fast this bike is. So most of these bikes on my channel reach about 27 on average before we hit the next stop sign. I'm gonna see if it goes over that. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it is. You guys probably already know this too. But I just wanna see how fast it actually goes in this stretch of roads. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this bike is nuts. Already 25 miles an hour. Almost 30, yep, 30, 35. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, 36 is what I saw on my phone, and I think this said a little bit over that. Such a crazy fast bike. Let's try that again in rear motor only. I wonder if you can switch the modes on the fly while you're riding. Oh yeah, you can, that's cool. Okay, so rear motor only, sports mode number 5, throttle only. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. And what a big difference from all that power. This actually feels like a regular, like a foldable bike that you'd maybe pick up for $1,000 or $1,500. But it's crazy that you can just put it in another motor and you get all this crazy power, right? Let's see if it reaches 27 or not. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. Oh, almost, okay. It is a heavy bike, guys. I'll pull over here and I'll do a full walk around. All right, so I pull over here, probably not in the best spot because there's houses on both sides of me, but we need some new scenery in these clips. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think out of the box. So here is a quick walk around of the bike. Of course, you've seen the front. We do have hydraulic brakes or 4-piston. We tried that out. They're awesome, right? The suspension is great. It just needs a little bit of air for me. I love the outside of the bike. These are non-removable. You cannot take these off. They look like stickers, but they're not. You can take this one off, you can take this one off, and you can take this one off the battery. Looking in the front, this is the headlight right up front. Plastic fenders. You do have to install this motor yourself and all this kind of stuff. So make sure you're careful on doing this because a lot of people are going to have error codes with not hooking this up correctly, or it might get snagged with the brake rotors and screws. And you definitely have to put this motor cable on yourself too. So make sure you do it real nice up here and everything like that. This is your charging port right here. They do give you a fast charger. I think it's an 8-amp charger. So that's where you would charge it right there. Or you can just take the battery off the bike and go charge it in your house. Your controller is gonna be right here if you need to access it for whatever reason. It's 60 amps. That's why this bike is so fast. 60 amps on a factory bike right to your door is nuts. Normally to get this type of power, you have to switch out the controller to get this much power. Looking at the suspension, you do have dual suspension in the rear. It is adjustable, but you will have to do it with a tool because trying to twist this, you're not gonna be able to move this collar whatsoever. It is locked on there really good. The nice thing I like about it, it's very easy to remove it because it's just these two Allens right here and you can lift it out of the way. So if you ever wanna replace the suspension, it is a Fast Ace 450 pound-inch spring right here in the back. One thing I'm not a huge fan of on Aniioki is I don't like the website. I wish they would remove that. I don't really want to advertise a website on my bike, especially if you pay $3,000 for this bike, which this is what's going for right now, $29.99. I do have some discount codes that bring it down a little bit. Kickstand's pretty good, has a little red line randomly right there, but it's holding the bike up pretty solid for, especially for how heavy it is. This is a 98-pound e-bike with a 33-pound battery. Here is your rear brake light. And let me turn it on real quick so you can see it. You just have to hold this up button right here. The screen will dim and it will also have the headlight logo right there. And then that means your lights are all working. And if I do hit the brakes, let me see. They do light up. So if you guys can see that, the outside ring does get brighter. So that's a nice safety thing. Let's try out our turn signals and see how those look. Those are kind of interesting. I don't know if they're supposed to do that, but you can see that like this one little LED like doesn't flash all the time, and then this one doesn't flash all the time. And this one does the same thing. This one doesn't blink every other time. So that's kind of interesting. They don't look very bright, but we'll do a separate video at nighttime and we'll see how the brake light and the turn signals look like. Now that should be everything you guys need to know about the walk around. And there's a few more things I need to show you guys on this bike. Like of course we have a horn. We haven't even used it at all. So let's try that out. Oh, damn. That's probably too early to be using that. Oh yeah, that's decently loud. I'm not trying to get this guy's attention because I can hear that pretty loud, especially with my full face helmet on. That's nice. Now the next thing I like to do on this channel, I'm doing this completely all backwards, but it's a turning test. I like to see how well this bike turns. And I gotta say, with those big knobby tires up front, you can definitely tell it's a big bike and it doesn't feel that smooth to really get that tire sideways. I felt it earlier when I was going around that roundabout. It just doesn't feel like the best bike to go into a turn full blast or like sharp maneuvers. It doesn't feel like that type of bike. You can always change out the tires to a more street version of a tire, but realistically, it's still a very heavy bike. Just keep that in mind. It's not gonna be as nimble as an 80-pound e-bike. But then again, an 80-pound e-bike isn't gonna really go this fast unless it's something you custom made. This is nuts, man. This is a quick bike. Just don't get caught depending on your local laws in your area. Around here, it's 28 miles an hour. And if you go off-road, you can go as fast as you would like. But you definitely don't want to pass a cop doing 40 miles an hour, because if they're not having a good day, you can definitely get a ticket on this thing or get it impounded. But I will take my chances because I like to get places super fast. And the e-bike thing is kind of like a loophole. There's not a lot of crazy laws around it. Most cops are kind of cool about it. Just go based off your area. If you can't ride a bike that's this fast in your area, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you, because this thing is just a blast, especially on a hot day. It's still not that cold right now, but I'm getting a lot of wind by going super fast. I love it. Oh, and it's a pretty smooth bike too to let your hands off. Woo. I waited last second to hit those brakes, but I knew they were gonna work. These brakes are just, they're stupid. And I say that in a good way. They're stupid good. That's how crazy these brakes are. Like, I love them. But yeah, this is a crazy bike. The only thing I'm not liking right now is that I know it's a huge battery. 60 amp hours is a lot, right? But I have went over 10 miles, 10.5 miles almost, and it says I have 97% battery. There is absolutely no way that's accurate. No way in heck is that battery accurate. I could see it maybe being about like 85 or 80%. Even with voltage tag, it's saying 97%. And it's really hard to see on that display. Now, I do like when I let off of the throttle that it goes green, and then when you get on the throttle, it turns orange. That's kind of cool. And I like the fact that it does tell us our wattage on both sides. That is kind of cool. And it really says we're only doing like 700 to 800 watts out of each motor. And it tells you the percentage of the power you're using on each motor. And it's roughly about like 98 to 96%. God damn, you gotta go way on the other side of the road. You know he's going fast because it's only a 40 here and I'm doing 42. Trying to race. Let's race, man, let's race.
12 seconds later.
I got him for a long time. It took him a while to catch up, man. And he's on it too. He has me doing like over 50 and a 40. Look, we're catching back up to you at the stop sign again. You know what? I was gonna floor it and stay next to him again, but it's all right. I had my fun. That's one good thing about this bike, love it or hate it. The fact that it goes this fast means you can jump into traffic and be perfectly fine without slowing people down, because there's not always bike lanes all over the place. Like, this street is wide enough, but look, there's no bike lane. If it was a shorter, smaller street, I would have to be in the street with traffic, and if there's cars coming to the other side, people have to wait for me. So the fact that I'm not holding people up and pissing people off, and people are still able to get to and from work or wherever the heck they're going, that's a nice thing. A lot of people don't think about that. I like this. I really like it. Definitely get a lot of range if you just put it in eco mode or normal mode and just kind of cruise around. But if you just want to go balls to the wall, you're definitely still going to get really good range out of it too. And you're going to have a blast doing it too. Very, very fun ride today. And stay tuned, subscribe, like the video. I am going to do a second video like I mentioned just briefly in the video. We're going to take it to work and we'll ride during the day, and then we'll ride at night. So we'll be able to see how this headlight performs. I'm really curious to see if it's super wide, if it's like real high, or if it's like a small little beam right in the middle of the road. I really want to see how that is, because the headlight really makes or breaks your night rides. The cool thing about this bike though, and maybe you guys don't like it because it has chopper style looking handlebars that are super tall, it actually felt very comfortable. But the cool thing is you have this little bar right here, so if you want to put some extra lighting and stuff like that, or even right here, you have tons of room. The only thing that was a little bit of a concern is putting my phone up here, is that I was either going to put it right here and I was going to block all this, or I was going to put it over here and I was going to block all this. It's at a slight angle. It's not that bad, but I'll give it a pass. It's okay. It does have enough room to put your phone up there. Some bikes just have a slight curve right there and it's sitting on the corner, or you have to like maneuver some stuff on your handlebars. So I'm not hating on it too much. Now, one of the cons of this bike, and if you can even see it, let me brighten up this display, is that it says we have 95% battery. There is no voltage reading on here. I would love to see voltage, because 94, 95% doesn't tell me anything. And I've went 12.25 miles and I've been out here for almost 50 minutes. I don't think that's accurate. I have to be around 80%. One thing I could do though, let's turn off the bike and let's see what happens when I turn it back on. Here we go. Also see if it has a memory function. Okay, it does remember the wheels that we were in, but it doesn't remember the gear we were in. Okay, it says we're down to 89%. Okay, that seems a little tiny bit more realistic, so I'll take that. All right, so we are towards the end of the video. I want to give you guys my final thoughts on this bike, and I gotta say, think about it this way. People are buying the Rev 1 for $2,500 or $2,600, right? Awesome bike, can't hate it. This bike is coming in at $3,000. You can use my coupon code and my links and you'll probably get it for like $2,900 or somewhere around there. And you're getting two motors. You're going like 45 miles an hour, normally about 43 miles an hour on average. It really depends on your weight, right, and where you're riding. You're getting a 60 amp hour battery compared to these other ones that are only giving you a 20 amp hour battery. So this is 3 times bigger than your other traditional bikes. The only thing is there's really no way of, I mean, you can upgrade any bike really, but there's no way of like putting a custom cage right in here. You could definitely get the rear rack back here and store some stuff on there. So it's not like the end of the world, but the customizations aren't as good as some of those other cheaper e-bikes. But I gotta say, the price being only $400 away from like a Rev 1 or something like that, and way more cheaper than a Super 73, which you're looking at like $4,000 or $4,500 to go, what, 32 miles an hour. And this thing is doing like 11 or 12 miles over that. It's just crazy. And you're gonna get the crazy big battery, like I said. It's not a bad bike to have in your mind. I know a lot of people have been saying they've been having issues with this company and other companies, and not exactly sure about that. I mean, I was getting that little indication on the screen. I don't know what that was about, but so far I haven't had any issues on the bike. And I would definitely be happy with my $3,000 purchase. This is definitely a car replacement, or especially if you don't have a license by any means, or it got suspended or DUI, whatever. you can definitely get on one of these and get to and from work hella fast. And if it's super far away from your house, this is gonna get you there too. And I'm talking about super far. You can even charge it at your work and just put your charger in your backpack. So definitely a bike to think about. But if you want a taller electric bike, you might want to think about some other bikes that I reviewed, and you can watch them up here on the screen. And if you don't like this video, hey, you don't have to like it, but I'd really appreciate it if you did. Please smash the like button and wait for video number 2, because this thing trips me out how fast this thing is. It is badass. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day. You guys are the true MVPs, and I really appreciate you guys if you stay to the end of the video while it's ending right now.